welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my kitchen. So obviously this is the first video that I'm gonna be filming here in the kitchen since we moved, and I am so excited to have this awesome kitchen to share my recipes in and to give you guys meal inspiration. As usual, the recipes will be in the description box, so you can check them out there, and you can also pin the recipes from the description box as well. The links for that is below. And today I actually have a lot on my list of stuff to make. I have not done any freezer prep since we moved into the house. So today we're gonna be stocking up my freezer. It's a rainy day. It's definitely a little bit dreary, which is a great day for cooking in my opinion, because you don't wanna be outside anyways. And let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I got started into was some bacon mushroom meatballs. Whenever I was thinking about what I wanted to make this week, I have been wanting to do a bacon inspired or a meatball that includes bacon, and these turned out so good. I made a pretty big batch. I did 2 pounds of ground beef, and I did decide that this time I was going to use 90% ground beef, so only 10% of fat, just because I feel like with meatballs, till you're done making the pan of meatballs, if it has a lot of fat percentage, they kind of shrink a lot and you just end up with a lot of fat on your cookie sheet. So it really worked out well, and I would recommend that if you're going to be making meatballs to get beef that is 90% and then 10% fat. So I went ahead and added in some mushrooms and onions. I cut them up pretty fine so that they can kind of be smushed into the meatball. And then I chopped up the bacon, and I did end up using, I think it was like 8 slices of bacon in this, but you could really play around with it and see if you want to add some more. Could have almost used a little bit more, I think, but I'm not sure how they would have held together if I would have used more. I also put almond flour in this, and just a little reminder, I always like to mention this, that when you see me use almond flour, you can always replace that with breadcrumbs, or you could even throw some oatmeal into your blender and blend that up and use that as a replacement as well. I usually try to make a note of that in the recipe so that you guys know your options. The best tip that I can give you on making batches of meatballs like this is just make sure they're all right around the same size. That way they're all done and cooked through at the same time. While the meatballs were baking, I wanted to make up some, I like to call them dump meals because they're really simple, but basically just meals that are in the freezer and ready to cook. They're not pre-cooked. So I took half of my chicken that was in this flat, and the one half I cut into strips, and then the other half I kind of made thin sliced breasts. And so the bag with the strips, I dumped a teriyaki dressing. You can use whatever you want to. I really love this one that is sugar-free. I can leave the Amazon link below for it. And then the other one, I decided to try to make kind of a creamy tomato basil chicken. And my suggestion would be to use heavy cream for this. I am doing some more dairy-free recipes and helping those of you out that have dairy-free or need dairy-free. So I did actually put in some heavy coconut cream that was in the can, but the same measurement would be used for heavy cream if you were going to use heavy cream instead. And again, I'll note that in the recipe so you know. So as far as how I would reheat these, you could either throw them in the frying pan and they would cook up in their dressings, or you could put them in an oven safe dish. I will leave both options so you guys know that you have either way that you could do it. And I don't know that I would put these in the air fryer. You know that I love using my air fryer to reheat a lot of my meals from the freezer, but since they have a sauce and you kind of want them to cook up in the sauce, you probably don't want to put them in the air fryer, although they probably would also reheat really well in your Instapot or pressure cooker. So the third one that I threw together, and honestly, I timed it, and all 3 of these meals I made in 30 minutes. So that just tells you how much time and energy you can save by doing it all at one time, and then you can pull them out and you're good to go. So the third recipe or meal that I made was kind of a skillet meal, or at least that's how I'll be reheating it. I did some peppers and onions and some dinner sausage, and just kind of put it all together, and then I put these diced tomatoes. They already had Italian seasoning, and then with all of these I kind of taste as I'm cooking, and if I need to add salt and pepper I can do that as well. I also like to put everything into Ziploc bags because they store so well in my freezer, and I can get a lot of stuff in my freezer by laying them flat and freezing them in the bags. Now the meatballs I will probably reheat in my air fryer, and I probably will be able to kind of smash them up once they're frozen. So if I want to pull out like half of the amount of meatballs for one meal and half for the other, it would definitely be doable. Next, I got some sweet potatoes prepped, so I just take a fork and kind of give them a little ventilation through their skin and then roll them up in some tin foil, and I put them in the oven because you'll see a little later on I'm going to be making some sweet potato tots that turned out really, really good. The next thing I started into was some breakfast bowls, and a couple of videos ago I showed you guys how to use radishes in place of potatoes. I personally think they taste so good cooked. I really, really love it. And so I got a whole bunch of them, and right now they're a really good price. I think it's because they're in season, but I know with my Walmart pickup, I think they were maybe under $1 a bunch for a little bit. I don't know. They were really inexpensive. But if you're somebody that is watching your carb or sugar intake, if you're diabetic, this is a really great option and swap. And one of the reasons I really wanted to try this out is because I wanted to see how they would freeze. And right before I'm doing this voiceover, I actually took one out, sat it in my air fryer and heated up the breakfast bowl, and they worked perfect. So they have my approval to freeze them, and I think that this will be something that I will be sticking to as like the base of my breakfast bowl, just because it gives you the feeling like you're having some potatoes, but you're also getting so many vitamins and minerals from all the veggies. So basically, after I chopped up all of the radishes, I got them in the skillet, and one little note I will make about making radishes this way is they do take a while to cook. It's kind of like a potato. You know, if you put raw potatoes in the frying pan, they really do take a while to fry up if you're not going to boil them first. And I didn't really want to boil them first because I felt like it may intensify the radish flavor, whereas just slowly cooking them kind of worked out better. So while they were cooking or frying up in the frying pan, I went ahead and cut up the rest of my veggies and things that I wanted to put into my breakfast bowls. And then one little tip I'll give you is I actually, if I can remember to do it, and I don't always remember, but I almost prefer pre-chopping my bacon into smaller pieces and then frying it up. It seems to kind of go a little bit easier, and it's easier to cut up whenever it's raw, and then you know, it will all be in pieces when it's done frying. So as I was cooking up all of my veggies and stuff for the breakfast bowls, I got started into doing some yogurt sticks, and this time I actually grabbed this bag of bananas and strawberries. They were frozen. I just let them thaw out in this bowl, and then I blended up the fruit. And you guys know, if you watch often, I do make my own yogurt, but this week I was just playing catch up on needing to get a lot of things prepped. So I just grabbed some plain yogurt from Walmart, and then I divided out the fruit between the two containers. I just kind of dumped them in these cups so I knew about how much both of them were getting and that it would be an even amount. And then I added in my vanilla cream stevia drop. You guys know that I love those in my coffee, but they're also really great for things like that. And the girls, by the way, thought those yogurt sticks were really, really good. And I agree. I tasted them and thought they were really delicious. So I probably will be grabbing that bag again of the bananas and strawberries just because it's already done for me and it's easy for me to just blend it up and then fill the baggies. So I get these baggies from Amazon, and I think you guys have seen me put all kinds of things in these. I blended up watermelon before and put that in these, but it's just a really great way to get your kids to eat a lot of healthy ingredients because they just think they're getting an ice pop, and it's easy for them to hold. And I will be making a lot of variations of these this summer because as it gets hot, it's just an easy snack for them to go get out of the freezer themselves, and I can cut the top off and off we go. And the baggies from Amazon come in a pretty big pack, and I don't think that they're terribly priced for the fact that my kids will eat them a little bit quicker than like just regular yogurt. Let me know in the comments if you love frying your eggs in bacon grease as much as I do. It just adds such a good flavor, and you can cook them up right after your bacon. So to make the breakfast bowls, I just kind of layered it all. So I put the radishes on the bottom, and I did add black pepper to them as well. I felt like that added a good flavor. And then I added in my cooked veggies. On top of that, I put the scrambled eggs. I do kind of think I could have done a little more eggs with this, but it worked out fine. The containers were really full till it was all done and said. And then I topped it all off with the bacon. If you guys watch my vlog channel and you saw my last vlog, then you saw these containers from Amazon. They're such a good deal. You get a lot of them in one pack for a great price, and I'm happy to report that they do freeze really well as well. I actually ended up baking the sweet potatoes longer than 50 minutes, or I think that's what I had initially had the timer set for, because I wanted them to be pretty soft to do this, and so I really wanted them cooked through well. So I added an egg, and I am probably going to try to explain this recipe below or in writing as best as I can, but it really depends on how much sweet potato you have and how big they are. So I added one egg, I added, first off, I think I added like a 1/4 cup of coconut flour. Again, you could use breadcrumbs or something like that, but it still was pretty sticky. Like I wasn't able to form the little tots, so I added some more. And I think till it was done and said, I added about a whole cup to all of those sweet potatoes. And then I made sure that I got a lot of onion powder in there as well. And then I just formed the tots, and the girls really liked these. I was actually a little surprised that they liked them as well as they did, but I'm just going to keep them on hand and then I can reheat them in the air fryer. I hope that this video inspired you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'm glad that you were here. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here. I would love for you to join my little cooking community here. Also, leave a comment below, give this video a like, and I will see you all in my next video.